If your partner suffers from depression, I am willing to bet that you feel anxious a lot of the time. Fortunately, there is a really effective way to deal with anxiety to reduce its immediate effect on you so that it is less catastrophic, less panicky, less terrifying, less paralyzing is perhaps the most important thing. And this tool will also help you build longer-term emotional resilience. So I'm going to give you this tool and explain how it works, but first I'd like to introduce myself because if you're watching this video, it means that you and I are just getting to know each other, and I am really excited that you're here. So I am Rachael Sloan. I am a relationship coach and a certified NLP practitioner. I work specifically with women whose partners suffer from depression. I help them get healthy, get happy, and live their best lives, regardless of what happens with their partner. I help you fix your own emotional stress, clean up your own emotional drama, get a handle on what is going on in this brain so that you can reach for the stars and accomplish everything you want to in your life. That's who I am, and that is what I'm passionate about. And today I'm going to tell you a quick and easy way to deal with anxiety when it is interfering with your ability to live your life. First, I want to talk about what anxiety is, because it can feel so intense and feel so strong that sometimes it seems like this kind of mysterious, crazy thing. At the end of the day, anxiety is an emotion. And like all emotions, it is a set of physical sensations in your body. That is how we experience emotions. So for me, when I feel anxious, I get butterflies in my stomach. I feel my heart rate increase. Sometimes I get pressure in my chest. My throat gets tight, and I get this pressure, this pulling sensation in between my eyebrows. For you, the physical sensations might be a little bit different, but once you start paying attention to them, you'll get really familiar and be able to recognize how anxiety expresses itself in your physical body. And the fact that anxiety is an emotion with a set of physical sensations is exactly what this tool takes advantage of. So I'm going to tell you this technique. It's very simple. It's something you can do in 90 seconds or less. You can do it at any time throughout the day. Here's what you do. When you start to feel anxious, take a moment, take a deep breath, and notice what are the physical sensations in your body. Say them to yourself. If you can do this out loud, that is amazing. If not, just say it in your mind. I feel a spinning sensation in my stomach, my heart rate is increased, my throat is tight, I have tension between my eyebrows. This is how anxiety feels in my body. Say that to yourself. List the physical sensations and tell yourself, this is how anxiety feels in my body. Repeat that. Repeat the list of physical sensations to yourself over and over until you notice the intensity of those sensations decreasing just a little bit. They are not going to go away entirely, but the volume, it's like turning down the volume on your anxiety. It should reduce, become a little more manageable so that you can get on with things. You can move on with your day, move on with your life, have that conversation with your partner, whatever it is that you need to get done that anxiety is interfering with. This technique will just turn down the volume so that you can work through it. The really cool part happens if you practice this on a regular basis. If you do this every day, if you do this several times a day, you will start to notice a shift in your entire relationship with your anxiety. So let me explain why this works and what you can expect in the long run if you keep practicing this. Anxiety is an emotion that comes from the primitive part of our brain. That's the part of the brain that kept you alive when you were evolving over hundreds of thousands of years. It's the part that kept you from getting eaten by lions or thrown out of the tribe. It's the part that told you when there was something that you needed to be afraid of. And today, that part of your brain hasn't really caught up with modern times. It sees an email from your boss or notices your husband's down and feeling depressed today, and it thinks that this is life and death. Everything to this part of your brain is life and death. It's a lion coming through the cave and you're gonna die if you don't respond. That's how this part of your brain views every problem in your life. And anxiety is a warning flag. There's not a lion in the cave yet, but there might be one right around the corner. Anxiety is your brain's way of getting your attention, saying, hey, there's a potential threat here. We need to do something so we don't get eaten. So if you imagine this part of your brain as another person, like, as a child or another adult in your tribe, like, imagine it as something outside of yourself. It's like, hey, there's a really dangerous threat. What do you do when that happens? Remember, in your body, anxiety is this set of physical sensations. You feel those physical sensations. You start being anxious. What do? Do you say, oh, yeah, what is the threat? How are we going to deal with this? No. Usually, you ignore it. You shove it down. You pretend it isn't there. You're like, oh, I don't want to be anxious. I hate this feeling. Get rid of it. But like, there's this little guy over here. Your brain is over here. And he's like, wait, but there's a lion around the corner of the cave. Like, hello, need your attention. So it doesn't go away when you ignore it. It actually gets louder. It gets worse. It starts yelling at you to get your attention. And the way that your anxiety yells at you is to increase the intensity of the physical sensations in your body. When you do this exercise, this 90-second practice of naming to yourself all of those physical sensations, you are doing two things. First, you are telling that part of your brain that you heard the message. You are aware, you are listening, and you're aware that there's a potential threat. That allows that primitive part of your brain to relax a little bit. It's done its job. It's alerted your prefrontal cortex to what is going on, and it's like, okay, I can take a breather. That's why you get that immediate relief. The anxiety tones down a notch. Your brain was screaming at you like, hey, get your attention. You're not paying attention. You do this exercise. It's like, okay, cool. She's listening. We don't have to yell so loud. Again, it's not going to go away. There's still this potential threat you need to deal with, but it doesn't have to be so intense to get your attention anymore. The second thing that happens over time and is all about your prefrontal cortex. The conscious part of your brain, the thinking part of your brain, starts to notice as you do this exercise over and over, it starts to like really internalize this belief that anxiety is just a set of physical sensations in your body. Anxiety goes from being this like frightening, dangerous thing in and of itself to something that you can manage, something that you can handle, because it's just a set of physical sensations. And yes, they're uncomfortable. I don't like having swirls in my stomach and an increased heart rate and a constricted throat. But you know what? I get a lot of those feelings when I eat bad Mexican food. And I don't freak out then. I don't think that I'm gonna die or something has gone terribly wrong. I'm like, oh yeah, probably shouldn't have eaten those enchiladas. Right? Like, we deal with it. I can still talk to my partner. I can still go to work. I can still give a performance or get on stage. I can record a video with swirls in my stomach and an increased heart rate. It's only when I think that something has gone wrong, when I think there is a serious problem because of those physical sensations, that I start to freak out. So when you practice this over and over, it teaches your brain, it trains you to recognize your anxiety as nothing more dangerous than a set of physical sensations that you can handle. And I'm telling you, this is a powerful place to be. Because if you aren't afraid of being anxious, think of what you can do. How many things in your day-to-day life do you avoid doing so that you won't feel anxious? How many times have you been paralyzed by your anxiety, your fear of it getting worse? If you're not afraid of your anxiety, if you're just like, oh yep, there's that swirl in my stomach and that tension between my eyebrows, and you just carry on, imagine what you would be free to do, where you could go, what you could accomplish in your life if anxiety was not something you were afraid of. So that is the real power of this technique. It is super useful in the moment to turn down the volume on your anxiety, but it's in the long term that you get the real powerful impact from it. So give this tool a try and let me know how it goes. I'm going to shoot you an email tomorrow and ask you how this worked for you. And I really want to know. I want to hear your feedback. So please respond and tell me about your experience using this tool. Okay. I am looking forward to hearing from you. And don't forget to check out below. There's a worksheet that you can use if you're having any trouble identifying your physical sensations. And there's also 2 guided audio recordings. One is just me walking you through step by step how to process an emotion in your body. And that's what you're doing here with anxiety. You can also use this for other emotions. Try it out on anger or frustration or sadness. It works equally well on all emotions. The second guided audio recording helps you deal with old emotions. So if you have anxiety that comes up around something that happened a long time ago, but it keeps popping up for you, and this is the same again if you have anger or shame or something that's from your past, that second guided audio recording will guide you through processing those old emotions so you can start to clean them up and move on with your life. All right, I can't wait to hear how this works for you, and good luck. I hope you get some serious relief from your anxiety. All right, I'll talk to you soon.